My name is Richard Wobby. I'm the EVP or Executive Vice President of the Associated General Contractors. And I have to thank you all for joining us today. It has been a whirlwind 48 hours, and I want to bring our members and associates up to speed on where we stand, particularly where we stand within the realm of the governor's latest order. Before I do so, I'm going to try to spell out a few things. One, I will give you an update. We'll talk about critical versus essential. We're putting a post in the ground. Everybody understand the governor has done it. We're doing the same thing. We're putting a post in the ground that is April 15th. And it is our hope, our belief, that we will all be back to some sort of normalcy by April 15th, working, mobilizing, putting jobs back together. April 15th is our date and where we're headed with that. We'll talk about security in a minute, bids, contracts, UI, and future meetings. It's, as we get into this, I want to explain that what the governor's decree yesterday The governor's decree yesterday was very clear that they're preserving public health and safety. Everything around this order is based on health and safety. He is directing and redirecting all workers shall work remotely, and the key word being shall work remotely when possible, except as set forth, subject to closures and limitations provided in previous or prior orders. All businesses and not-for-profit entities in the state shall suspend in-person business operations. These businesses and not-for-profit entities are encouraged to develop business strategies, procedures, practices, such as using an online presence like we're doing, telephone, web-based service delivery, and phone or online orders for curbside pickup. The Agency of Commerce and Community Development, ACCD, and you might write that down, accd.vermont.gov, accd.vermont.gov, we'll come back to that, shall develop a process for responding to questions regarding acceptable continuation of business operations. We won't come back, I'll address it right now. If you believe you are a critical operation, not essential, critical, he's been clear that it is critical operations that will be allowed to continue. If you believe you are a critical operation, please go to accd.vermont.gov. All businesses, governmental entities, and not-for-profit entities shall develop strategies, procedures. If they believe they qualify as critical operations, they then have to develop practices designed for strict adherence to CCD and the Vermont Department of Health guidance. I will tell you, if you go to our website, DEW has been quite gracious in sharing with us proper protocols for operation and a policy or plan that you can modify for yourself and put in place to operate within this context of critical operations. That plan will include maintaining distance of 6 feet between persons, requiring employees to practice proper hygiene, requiring employees and notification of employees who are sick to remain home, and regularly cleaning and disinfecting frequently touched objects. Businesses and entities providing services or functions deemed critical to public health and safety, as well as economic and national security, shall remain in operation except as set forth in section 4 above, and shall not be subject to the in-person restrictions. Number 6, which is the one that we're dealing with right now. Services or functions in Vermont deemed critical to public health and safety, as well as economic and national security, of course, health care. Anything you are doing involving health care, COVID-19, the recovery from COVID-19, or anything surrounding health care can continue. Law enforcement, public safety, we can all agree with that. 6C, critical infrastructure, and the key being critical infrastructure, including utilities, telecommunication, airports, and transportation infrastructure. It's got to be critical. He has, and the definition has been clear, that unless you're doing recovery in some fashion, and this morning a washed out road, a road that's impassable because of mud that's got to be rebuilt, a accident that takes out a bridge, any of these critical pieces, then yes, critical infrastructure, transportation can take place. Transportation or infrastructure repairs can take place. We cannot start or proceed with projects that are ongoing. We are supposed to be securing those sites, making them safe to survive the next 3 weeks, and then come back to them on April 15th. Again, April 15th. Construction necessary to support the COVID-19 process. Construction necessary to support this process. I know we've got a couple projects going on right now, one of them being at the DoubleTree that is being deemed essential or being deemed critical, because they are getting ready and have been moving patients into the DoubleTree in Burlington. We are talking critical. One of the reasons he went and skipped the essential and moved right to critical is our bloom or infectious rate has doubled every day for the last 5 days. If I heard right today, and Matt sitting in the room, I think I heard we jumped from 100 people to 175 today. Is that correct? Matt?
What's that?
Did we jump from 100 to 175 today?
We're at 135.
135.
We're predicting 175 overnight.
135, and they're predicting in excess of 175 before overnight. Our bloom rate is substantial, and we just aren't controlling it in any other fashion than try to limit movement with outside folks. Again, construction necessary to support the COVID-19 response and maintain that. Critical manufacturing that's out there. They also comment on retail serving basic human needs, hardware stores, trash collection. They have deemed trash collection recycling operations, and maintenance of drinking and wastewater drainage infrastructure. If you have projects happening within that world and your owner or developer or municipality has deemed that to be critical, you can continue along those lines. You can continue with those. Agriculture, farms, animal shelters, lodging to the extent only required to support the COVID-19 response, only to required to support that response, critical infrastructure and national security. Building and property services for the safety, sanitation, and operation of residents and other businesses. If there's a safety concern in the electrical world with that building, fire maintenance world within that building, an electrical contractor can respond to it, but only for that purpose. To change the outlet covers or to rewire a circuit is not considered a critical response at this time. Banks, the institutions, again, they're still going. There was one other in this I wanted to hit on because it is becoming a question and we have to understand that. Transportation sector, agriculture sector, equipment, parts, repair, and maintenance, provided the operation shall be conducted through online telephone orders for delivery and curbside pickup to the extent possible. Your maintenance operations inside your garage can, in essence, continue based on the fact that you have one person in one bag, you keep separation of employees, and those operations are deemed critical to the overall extent of this operation. So, quick, fast, those are the understandings, and to the best of my knowledge, that is the guidance and interpretation being given to everybody. Again, if you believe you are a critical business needed in this world, you have to contact accd.vermont.gov and you will fill out a form there. They will decide whether the business is necessary, whether a business transaction or performance of services requires in-person needs, work, and again, it's based on that critical nature. This morning we had a question based on our, so I've got the town of Roxbury and they have a road washout. Can I respond to it? Yes, you can respond to that. You can even go to a Kingdom Gravel and have them crush up some gravel, some stone for you. You can deliver, you can put it down, but you can't move on and start to rebuild other roads that would normally be done under maintenance operations. This has to be critical to that extent, and each job is being handled unto itself. Our post is in the ground for April 15th. It is the belief by the medical experts, by Dr. Levine, that if we can contain this bloom over the next 3 weeks, then we won't have a large disruption over the following 6 months. We'll still see a small disruption, but we won't have a large disruption over the next 6 months versus this piece lingering on and on and on for the whole 6-month period with us losing employees, gaining employees, infecting each other, and going back and forth. So that's where we stand on that. I will also tell you that at 5 o'clock tonight, it's expected that all jobs, public or private, shut down. all jobs, public or private, that are not critical, shut down. All offices, wherever it's possible to work from home, work from home. Also, in that mix, I know the Agency of Transportation is opening up their contract admin, is going to be accepting bids for future projects. We're going to have the ability to bid, and they're going to be posting new jobs out there, as BGS is and as other state owners are. And we just got to, in our work from home, that's one of the things we've got to keep up with and stay abreast of, so that we do see other projects, we do bid on some stuff. There is going to be a wave of work coming out as soon as April 15th hits, and we should prepare ourselves for it. For you horizontal guys, we screwed this up. I own it, I'll own it. We screwed this up because we worked hard in the first part of March to get the start of the season moved up by 3 or 4 weeks, and we had anticipated that we would be able to start work on Monday of this week. We sent out a letter in coordination with the Agency of Transportation that horizontal work could begin on Monday, only to find out, again, coordination, it changes hour by hour, day by day, minute by minute. We did not realize that the governor's office was putting in this critical emphasis. We had hoped and had lobbied that it be held to the essential side, and again, essential businesses. Construction would be included in essential businesses, but they jumped right over the essential and went right to critical. Our bloom rate is at the critical stage right now. So, in essence, at 5 o'clock tonight, we will hopefully be shutting down all job sites. In that sense, I would like to remind you all, as you shut down these job sites, to remember security, security, security. Secure your tools, secure your equipment, work to demobilize that with which you can demobilize, bring things in-house, and hopefully on April 15th, we'll all be in a better place and we'll be able to keep moving. A lot of questions surrounding the unemployment benefits, the unemployment piece. I don't know how to advise you on that quite yet. We are waiting for clarification on how we're going to handle the unemployment piece. I mean, there's talk to an 8-week reprieve. There's talk of a temporary unemployment phase. I don't know where that's going right now. If I were advising today, I would say if you can afford it, pay your employees through the end of the week and then lay them off at the end of the week. We will have more information coming out Friday, and I'll tell you right now, we're going to hold another set of these joint seminars on Friday, one at 10 o'clock in the morning and one at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We will have far more information and far better understanding of the UI pieces, and then our family medical leave and family leave and how we're going to deal with that. We just don't have our arms wrapped around that right now, but it is coming, and we are doing a great deal of listening, learning, and trying to figure out what they're all saying and how they're saying it and what it actually means. I know we've had our government affairs team going pretty much 24 hours a day here over the last week, and they are meeting with our representatives both federally, talking with our representatives federally and meeting with our representatives and senators here locally and trying to get a grasp of what everybody's trying to do. Then down the road, again, we're starting to investigate and starting to gain an understanding of the total stimulus and recovery package that's out there. On a bright side of that, we've learned a lot of lessons from Irene, and we certainly have that learning under our belt. We know the questions to ask, and we know what is going to be needed. The biggest difference between this pandemic and Irene is we could all see Irene coming. We saw it, it was water. When it receded, it was gone. We can't see this piece, and we are having a very difficult mental time trying to comprehend the total extent of the damage and the economic fallout of what's actually occurring here in front of us. So that's kind of where we stand right now. We will again be updating you as time goes on. I am welcome or happy. Oh, hey! First off, we have a COVID-19 hotline here at the office. COVID-19 hotline here at the office. If you want to call or you need some updates, it's 802-229-9189. That's our COVID hotline here at the office. If you want to text me, please, my phone is burning up, and it really is burning up. But if you want to text me, I will get back to you within an hour or two. And our text hotline is 802-793-5659. And you're welcome to text me anytime, any questions, anything you have. Right now, we have a good number of you out there. I think at this point in time, we have about 50 people joining us. And I see Andre Parent has his hand up. Andre, I'm sorry I ignored your hand this long, but how can I help you today? Andre?
Dick, I'm all set. That was an accident.
You're okay. But you like that raise your hand thing, don't you, Andre?
Thanks for all the help. You're doing a great job.
Thank you. I won't go down through the list. Does anyone have a question on anything I've said thus far?
Yeah, Dick, Greg Gorman at Pike Industries. We've got obviously crushers and asphalt plants critical to getting a good start on the season. It's a goal in 415. We've got personnel that are performing maintenance and preparation of those getting ready. What's the message to the personnel that are employees? Okay,
so I'm going to tell you preparing your plants or preparing mix is not going to be considered a critical piece. I could be mistaken, and you could apply at accd.vermont.gov for an exemption to that. Doing the maintenance on your equipment, if you have a protocol that keeps separation within that maintenance area, and you have a protocol for lunches happening at different times and isolates those maintenance folks from each other, then you will probably be able to maintain that maintenance piece.
All right.
Okay? Anybody else?
Dick, it's Gray Ricker here with L&D.
How are you, Gray?
Good, good. Okay, I've worked in 4 different states. New Hampshire, Maine, and Massachusetts all have work scheduled this week and all next week. Can I still go to those jobs out of Vermont?
Yes, you can
keep my operation that supports those operations in Vermont going as well.
Gray, it's my understanding at this point, because I've had a couple of these questions, we were talking with, I believe it was Miller Crane this morning that was moving cranes out of the state for some work in Portsmouth, I think it was. But we have been assured that you will be able to move and come back, move your equipment and come back from, and so let me quantify this, in and out of other states for work. You will be able to maintain your maintenance operation here in the state under the same criteria that I just gave. I will also give you a heads up that I've received at least one and possibly two reports that New York is not allowing people into New York right now.
Understood, perfect, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, Richard,
Hey,
this is Ross Perry.
Ross, how are you?
Good, there's a couple of questions on the chat screen.
Oh, God. Ross, you're really throwing me, man. Okay, so let's try this. So, Joe Poston, to all entire, I hear you, I don't have a mic. Well, thanks, Joe. Again, I don't have a mic. Roth Perry, we have water infrastructure project that the owner, Champlain Water District, has deemed critical. Do we as contractors need to report this to the state or obtain some sort of permission, file anything anywhere? If that owner has deemed it critical and infrastructure is included within this piece, critical infrastructure, trash, water, operations, maintenance of drinking water and wastewater has been deemed critical, and if that owner deems that critical and supplies you with a written request identifying that as critical, you can continue along those lines. It is up to him to get permission to find out whether it's critical or not. I hope that answered yourself there, Roth.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
We personally don't have to file a report to that accd.vermont.gov or whatever.
Not in that case. You only have to apply for that if you are trying to declare yourself as a critical responder at any given time. If you are doing a critical job, not company, you're only limited to that one critically declared job, and that's what you can work on.
Okay, thanks.
I see, again, I've opened things up. I'm glad to see you guys are working from home. I see where, Amy O'Neill, how are you today? Amy, your question, suspend in-person business operations. I just heard the press on Vermont radio or whatever say they only shutting down in-person operations. Can you comment on that? They are shutting down any operations that are not critical. In-person has to do with how we are servicing clients inside our establishments. They are not allowing, or would rather not allow, any clients to come into our establishments. I also understand, Amy, you don't have a microphone that's working. Do you want to ask a further question on that? Okay. Anybody else? Anybody else? The bottom line here is we are shut down, public or private. We are shut down if it is not a critical need. That's the bottom line. And hopefully we'll be back up and running. It is our goal. I know it's the governor's goal. I know it's the health department's goal, agency of transportation goal. right across the board that we be back up and running by April 15th. But we've got to see a drastic decline in this spike and bloom of this COVID-19 pandemic. Anybody? Guys, it's been nice meeting with you again. We will meet again on Friday at 10 and at 2, and we will update you. I will have Matt send you all a notice that that's happening, and you're welcome to join us again Friday, either at 10 o'clock or 2 o'clock, and we look forward to it. If you have any questions, you want to text them to me, it's 802-793-5659, or if you want to call our COVID hotline, it's 802-229-9189. We're here for you, and I hope we can help you through this.